Welcome to the last section of our study of Luther's Large Catechism, the part that looks at the sacrament of the altar. The sacrament of the altar, the wine, the bread, for us Christians to eat and to drink. Before we get into it very deeply, you have to realize the days of Luther coming out of the Roman Catholic Church with its emphasis on the character of the priest magically transforming the very substance of the bread and the wine so that it was only Christ's body, only Christ's blood. Many viewed the sacraments as nothing. We call them the anti-sacramentarians for a good reason. Baptism was just a command of God that we show our faith towards God thereby. And also with the Lord's Supper, it was only bread, it was only wine, a memorial feast, a memorial meal that reminds us of Christ's suffering and death on the cross. Luther would have none of that. He goes and he looks at the words of God, the verba, we call them, the words of institution. On the night he was betrayed, Jesus took bread, gave thanks, and gave it to his disciples, saying, "Take, eat. This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." In the same way, after supper, he took the cup, gave thanks, gave it to them, and said, "Drink from it, all of you. This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is shed for you for the remission of sins. Do this as often as you drink it in remembrance of me." Without these words, there is no sacrament, because a sacrament is where the word is added to the elements, as St. Augustine says, and Luther admiringly quotes him. And here's the big idea. The big idea is the Word makes the sacrament. Just like in baptism or the Ten Commandments, the Lord's Prayer. Whether I have belief or unbelief, that does not affect the Lord's Prayer or the Ten Commandments. In fact, the Ten Commandments, they are valid whether we keep them or not. God is in his heaven. He is not impacted by our reactions to his dealings with us in this world. No, the Word makes the sacrament. And so wherever you have people saying, "It's only wine, how can this be Christ's body and blood?" Luther says, by the word of Christ. Christ promises it, and Christ does not lie. And through those simple words of Jesus, the words of institution, the armies of hell itself are silenced, for where the word is, there is the sacrament. Luther uses a phrase, he says it's under the bread and the wine. It's comprehended in the word. It only looks like bread. It only looks like wine. It's not going to taste like flesh. It's not going to taste like blood. It's under. But because of the words of Jesus, we believe that we receive this true body and true blood. Thus, Luther maintained the biblical truths in the face of Roman Catholic transubstantiation and the more radical reformers who would throw away all sacraments and the comfort that they give. Please go to the group meet staff, Luther Large Catechism, to answer questions and to respond. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.